in the path of Hurricane Arthur.
I'm meteorologist Arielle Nixon tracking Hurricane Arthur. I'll show you where this storm is headed and the local impact we'll see here at home coming up in the First Alert forecast.
Plus, the lingering dangers on Jacksonville Beach.
Rip currents remain a threat here on Jacksonville Beach, where lifeguards beef up patrols for the holiday weekend.
And bracing for wind and rain bands. How the neighbors to our north are preparing for the dangerous conditions expected to roll in from Hurricane Arthur. 23 minutes of nonstop news, weather, and traffic is just ahead. Fox 30 Action News tracking Arthur starts now.
We are giving you a live look from Jacksonville Beach this morning, and that's where you can see a moderate surf crashing here along the shore. But even though the waters don't look too choppy, beach officials still say beware. There is a high risk right now of being caught up in a rip current.
And that high risk is coming from Hurricane Arthur, the first hurricane of the 2014 Atlantic hurricane season. Action News has been giving you live updates on Arthur since it was upgraded to a hurricane, live on Fox 30 at 4:30 with Arielle and myself, right around 4:47 here this morning.
Welcome to Action News at 7, everyone. Good morning. I'm Dawn Lopez in for Mike.
And I'm Lindsay Gardner. Hurricane Arthur continues to gain strength as it's churning and moving up the East Coast.
And right now, hurricane hunters are flying through this system. Another update on the storm is less than an hour away now.
We have complete team coverage of Hurricane Arthur this morning, the expected conditions, and where it's headed. Let's begin with Fox 30 meteorologist Arielle Nixon with what we know about the hurricane right now.
Well, what we know right now, it is a Category 1 storm with maximum sustained winds at 75 miles per hour. We will get an update, like Dawn said, within this hour from the National Hurricane Center and from the hurricane hunters who are doing some investigation this morning on the storm system. We don't expect it to strengthen any higher than Category 1, and its impacts will be greatest along the North Carolina coast. For us here at home, just minimal impact and kind of the remnants of what we saw yesterday. So again, 75 mile per hour sustained winds. It's moving north right now at 9 miles per hour, but we expect it today to turn towards the northeast. That's going to again bring its greatest impact to the North Carolina coast, where some people are having to evacuate just before that 4th of July holiday. And in fact, it's going to bring those impacts overnight tonight and into the early morning hours on the 4th of July, unfortunately dampening some holiday celebrations. There is a hurricane warning in effect for this area, also a tropical storm warning in effect for northern South Carolina's coastline. For us here at home, though, of course, no watches or warnings in effect anymore. In fact, we never had any watches or warnings. They only went as far north as Flagler Beach and then were discontinued yesterday afternoon. What we can expect to see here today, high rip current risk out at the beaches. We're going to see those rough seas once again, and winds will become offshore. So it's going to be very tempting for the surfers, but we want to make sure you're aware that it is going to be very dangerous today for anyone who is not an experienced swimmer, surfer, or boater to be out in the water. If you are not experienced, maybe today's a good day to watch from afar. Here's a live look from our First Alert Skycam network in Myrtle Beach. You can see the seas are starting to churn up, and it is going to be rough there today. What you can expect here at home, it's going to be hot and humid. We'll see a high of 95, but it will feel like the triple digits. Also expecting some heavy thunderstorms. I'll show you when and where to expect that rain coming up in the First Alert forecast. 7:03, let's get a check on your First Alert traffic.
Arielle, thanks. From the First Alert Traffic Center, things are pretty quiet here. We'll be back to the weather coverage in just a second. 10 and Lane Avenue, no problems. Green light probably will be pretty quiet on the roadways today as a lot of people are starting their holiday. 10 minutes from Chafee Road, passing Lane Avenue into the Fuller Warren Bridge there. Over the Buckman Bridge, no problems at all. Southbound from Orange Park into Mandarin, 10 minutes in total to make that drive. If you're coming in from Ponte Vedra Beach, A1A, crossing 295 up to I-95, 11 minutes there. 54 miles per hour is your real-time traffic speed right now over the Matthews Bridge. Not seeing any delays, and a lot of you may be leaving town up to the airport on I-95 northbound. Only 13 minutes from I-10 to the Airport Road exit. That's your update from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center. Dawn?
Thanks, Derek. Well, as the First Alert weather team predicted, the effects from this storm system on our coastline are pretty minimal, but there's still a danger out there of rip currents.
Action News' Russell Colburn is live at Jacksonville Beach this morning. And Russell, the Coast Guard wants families to be careful ahead of the holiday weekend.
That's right, and speaking to Jacksonville Beach Ocean Rescue, I'm told in addition to the full staff of regular lifeguards out here, the volunteer force will have 50 guards on hand, keeping an eye on the water to keep you and your family safe this holiday weekend. Action News wanted to experience the conditions firsthand as Arthur churned off our coast. Our Amanda Warford boarded a boat with Captain Bill Kerr of St. Augustine Fishing Charters. Out at sea, the crew faced 6-foot waves and winds gusting at more than 30 miles per hour before being forced to turn around.
No place for any real inexperienced boater, and there was no point in being there really at all.
Kerr says he won't be back out to fish until tomorrow, saying it's just not worth it today. And as far as conditions out here right now, we have seen the surf really kick up, and there are a lot of white caps out here, and we're feeling a light breeze. Red flags expected to fly again today as beachgoers are being warned about possibly strong and dangerous rip currents. I'm in Jacksonville Beach, Russell Colburn, Fox 30 Action News.
All right, thanks, Russell. And we want to give you a look at aerial footage of our coastline shot before Arthur passed by. St. Johns County engineers shot this video Tuesday, and they'll use this footage, they tell us, to determine how much erosion Tropical Storm Arthur may have caused in Ponte Vedra and Volano Beach. We first told you about erosion problems there back in March. Officials declared a state of emergency, and neighbors installed a seawall trying to protect their property. Now that the storm has passed us, officials will survey the area again to decide if any emergency repairs are needed. Hurricane Arthur is churning again up the East Coast, gaining strength at this hour, and neighbors to our north are bracing for its impact from dangerous winds and waves.
Right now, at least 25 coastal counties are under hurricane warnings. Tori Dunning continues our live team coverage from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, where people there are bracing for whatever Hurricane Arthur may bring.
Overnight, Arthur turned into a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds at 75 miles per hour. Now today, all eyes are going to be on the North Carolina coast, especially here in the Outer Banks, which is expected to get the worst of it. As Arthur churns in the waters off Florida and Georgia, the storm is picking up speed and strength, with the Carolinas in its sights. All along the East Coast Wednesday, beachgoers were enjoying the calm before the storm and making preparations for the first big hit of the season.
We're just prepping. We're tying down stuff, things that'll fly. There will be some flooding, so we're going to move down the street to our other house. But other than that, we're just going to stay here and ride it out.
Hurricane warnings have been issued for parts of North Carolina, and other areas are being evacuated. The governor already declared states of emergency for counties in the storm's path.
Almost every casualty we've had during storms occur typically right before or after a storm, when people again get too comfortable, when there is still potential danger.
Meteorologists say the danger could take the form of deadly rip currents, even if Arthur remains a weak Category 1 hurricane. In South Carolina, tourists are taking it all in stride.
We're just going to continue to do what we do, and if we have to make other arrangements, then we'll do so.
Wanting a good fourth, but you know, if it comes and rains us out, you know, we'll just stay in the house.
Just means we might have to watch the fireworks inside.
And many people I've talked to this morning still haven't decided whether or not they're going to leave the Outer Banks. There were supposed to be about 250,000 people here for the 4th of July weekend. It's unclear just how many people decided to stay home. And according to AAA, this is the busiest travel week of the summer, and this storm, well, it's going to make things pretty messy. In Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, I'm Tori Dunnan reporting.
And 4th of July celebrations are being impacted. In fact, we just learned here this morning the famous Boston Pops 4th of July celebration is being moved to tonight because of the hurricane. It's the first time ever it's been moved due to weather. We have more continuing coverage of what is now Hurricane Arthur for you online at the all-new actionnewsjax.com. You can have interactive radar right there at the click of a button. Check your local forecast and read Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish's blog, Talking the Tropics, and take a look at the Hurricane Center and your storm preparation guide, plus much more. It's 7:09 this morning. A Louisiana mother plans to sue the Clay County Sheriff's Office after she says she was wrongfully arrested twice and held in jail for weeks, losing everything. Now 4 high-ranking detectives are being punished and demoted. Jesse McDonough joins us live from headquarters this morning in Green Cove Springs. Jesse, these officers are now suspended and demoted.
Yeah, Lindsay, and according to this complaint made by Ashley Nicole Shason, she was wrongfully arrested not once but twice by deputies here at the Clay County Sheriff's Office, and she was held here at the Clay County Jail for a total of 40 days. She wants the department to pay her for taking away her liberty. This is the side-by-side mugshot photo of the wrongfully arrested Ashley Nicole Shason and the real suspect, Ashley Odessa Shason, who is charged with grand theft in an attempt to defraud a financial institution. Detective Mark Mertz is suspended for 30 days over the incident. He made the initial wrong identification. The second wrong identification was made by Detective William Roberts. He was also suspended for 30 days. Their supervisors, Sergeant Robert Curry and Lieutenant Dan Malia, were suspended also 5 days and 7 days. Here is Ashley Nicole Shason's attorney and what he has to say about getting justice for his client.
Oh, that's a question that is hard to answer. How do you put a value on your liberty?
Jason's attorney added, quote, "It seems the sheriff has made a step in the right direction, and we applaud that." Still, Jason's attorney does plan on suing the department on his client's behalf. Reporting live in Green Cove, Jesse McDonough, Fox 30 Action News.
The sheriff's office released this statement saying this incident is not representative of the hard work and dedication exhibited daily by the hundreds of members of our agency. The swift and decisive results of these internal investigations should reassure Clay County residents that we don't take lightly our responsibility to do the right thing and to correct mistakes when they occur.
We continue to track a Hurricane Arthur, now a Category 1 storm. It's well off our coast towards the north and east by at least 150 miles. But we are seeing just a few showers still on the edges of this storm system through southeastern Georgia. So just some sprinkles. These are now west of Nahunta and west of Folkston, moving southward and falling apart as we speak. But just some sprinkles this morning. We'll see heavier storms this afternoon. Here's what you can expect through the day today. We are going to jump up to 78 degrees by 8 this morning, 87 already by 10, 94 is your noon temp, and we are going to feel more like 105 to 107 degrees through the afternoon. Those heavy thunderstorms will develop after 1 o'clock. They're going to produce some heavy rain, frequent lightning, and gusty winds. I'll track those strong storms for you hour by hour coming up in the First Alert forecast. 7:12. Let's get a check on your traffic. Derek?
Right now, not finding any problems on the roadways. 95 and 20th, that's a green light right there. You'll see some traffic, of course, on 95 throughout the day. People coming into Florida and maybe out of Florida, but no major delays there. There's your ride up as far as the airport road exit, delay free. Over on New Kings at Edgewood, 37 miles per hour heading northbound toward the West Beltway, and over on the East Beltway, 69 miles per hour southbound on the Dames Point Bridge. That's your update from the Safe Charge Security First Alert Traffic Center. Dawn?
Thanks, Derek. Well, as we head into the holiday weekend, security measures are being increased at some international airports because of a worldwide terror threat. New intelligence reveals Al-Qaeda could be planning to blow up a commercial aircraft. Sources say that there are concerns that Westerners could be recruited by terrorist groups to smuggle bombs onto planes. That threat developed over the last year, they believe, with officials seeing thousands of Westerners traveling to Syria to fight in the civil war. One Colorado woman is in jail for just that this morning. Newly released court documents show that the FBI stopped a Denver woman's attempt to help the terrorist group ISIS. Agents arrested 19-year-old Shannon Conley back in April before she could board an international flight. This is video of her home in Denver. The documents show that she told agents she wanted to use American military training to wage a jihad. She was traveling to Syria to meet a man that she had met online. She claimed to be a part of ISIS, the extremist group fighting to take over Syria right now and Iraq.
7:13, family members of two people killed in two different school shootings are pushing for tighter gun laws here in Florida. On Wednesday, they visited the state capitol and delivered these 28,000 postcards, all signed by Floridians who support their cause. Richard Martinez's son was killed in a shooting at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Meanwhile, Erica Lafferty's mom was the principal at Sandy Hook Elementary. They both say it's time for responsible gun legislation.
People need to vote on the side of public safety and on the side of common sense. And as far as being in Florida and it being a very gun-heavy state, that doesn't mean that people can't be safe and responsible, which is what we're asking people to do.
In Florida, bills to restrict firearms have had a difficult time passing through the legislative process. The family members say they are not discouraged and they will work to get candidates elected who support stricter gun control.
The White House is sharply criticizing state leaders in Florida. The Council of Economic Advisors criticized the 24 states opting not to expand Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act. New numbers from the council show 848,000 people would be eligible for coverage. That's if Florida joined other states broadening the eligibility for Medicaid. The White House says Florida is leaving federal dollars on the table.
We hope the remaining states will take action without delay to expand these benefits to their state and their citizens.
And Florida isn't alone. Georgia has also declined to expand Medicaid.
Big changes are coming in the way inspectors in Florida ensure the restaurants you eat at are safe to visit. The Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation is now using what they're calling a risk-based inspection frequency program. That means places that serve food will be categorized by risk levels from 1 to 4. Those risk levels directly coincide with how many inspections will be required annually.
Those hot dog carts, temporary event permits, they'll receive 1 inspection a year. Whereas if an establishment has a confirmed case of foodborne illness, they'll receive 4 inspections each fiscal year.
The department says that means less time is being spent on businesses that have established a good history and more time to focus on higher risk restaurants. The way the inspections are done is staying the same. And remember, you can find out which local restaurants get low marks every Friday at 7 o'clock right here on Action News This Morning and at 6 in the evening on our original restaurant reports.
5 people are facing charges for trafficking methamphetamines from Mexico into Northeast Florida. The Baker County Sheriff's Office, along with other agencies, have been watching these men for about a year. Investigators say the men conspired to sell pure meth in Baker, Duval, and Nassau counties and in Bacon County, Georgia. Detectives say that 3 of the men admitted to selling between 15 and 20 pounds of meth with a street value of between $600,000 and $800,000. The Sheriff's Office hopes that these arrests will serve as a warning.
You start this in Baker or Clay or Nassau or Duval or anywhere else, we will find you and we will come get you.
The 3 men pleaded guilty and will be sentenced this fall. The other 2 will be tried in Jacksonville later this year.
Action News investigates a local police officer whose past may be catching up to him. That officer is on the job despite 2 internal investigations and a conviction on his record before the local police force ever hired him.
Because a guy has on a uniform in a car, and we put our trust in this.
The response we got when we took our questions right to the officer involved. Action News investigates this officer today at 5 on CBS 47 Action News.
We continue to track what is now Hurricane Arthur. At 4:30, we came on the air, and this was Tropical Storm Arthur. Then at 4:47, we brought you this information live on air that this is now upgraded to a Category 1 storm. It is bringing us, not to us, but it does pack winds of 75 miles per hour sustained, and those strong winds are going to impact the North Carolina coast. The yellow circle here is showing where winds will be up to 35 miles per hour, and the orange circle showing winds close to 60 miles per hour. So you can see North Carolina's coast is going to get the greatest impact from the storm. We are going to see few impacts, minor impacts today, kind of the remnants of what we saw yesterday with a high rip current risk today. And here's a look from Wrightsville, North Carolina on our First Alert Skycam network. This is near Wilmington. You can see the clouds building out there and also starting to see that surf trying to churn up. It's certainly going to get rough as we go through the day today. There is a hurricane warning along the North Carolina coast, a tropical storm warning along the coast of South Carolina, the northern portion of South Carolina's coastline. We have no watches, no warnings in effect for our area. It's going to be a fairly quiet day today. We still, though, have a high risk for rip currents. It is going to be a dangerous day to be out at the beaches unless you are an experienced swimmer or surfer. Also rough seas, so also dangerous for those inexperienced boaters out there. Winds today are going to become offshore, so a lot of surfers are going to feel tempted, but you want to be careful out at the beaches. We're looking at generally dry conditions on the 5-Sweep First Alert Doppler HD, but just in the last 20 minutes or so, a few showers popped up through southeastern Georgia. In fact, one shower that's just east of Nahunta kind of fell apart. Now just a sprinkle, and this sprinkle is moving south towards Toledo at 7:38. If it holds together that long, because those are falling apart and going to be very short-lived. Right now you're waking up to temperatures in the low and mid-70s at 73 degrees in Jacksonville, 75 in Fernandina, and also 75 degrees to start your day in St. Augustine. We're expecting to see some heavy thunderstorms producing heavy rain, frequent lightning, and strong winds through the afternoon, so much more rain today than what we saw yesterday. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast starting at 8:30, still dry. In fact, it's going to stay dry all the way into 12:30. We'll start to see our storms popping by 1:30 to 2 o'clock through southeastern Georgia. Then they'll push south and southeast, reaching Jacksonville and Duval County right around 6 o'clock. Brand new model information is slowing this down a bit, but generally going to see that heavy rain pushing through Duval County right around the evening commute. A little ahead of time, maybe a little after, but you want to be aware that we're likely going to see messy conditions on the roadways between 5 and 6 o'clock. Then those storms will diminish after sunset. By 10 o'clock, just a few sprinkles around, and by midnight and into 1 o'clock on Friday morning, partly cloudy skies is what you can expect to see. For today, hour by hour, we begin the day partly sunny, 78 degrees. It will be hot and breezy by noon at 94. We will feel more like the triple digits, though, as early as noon. And we will see those heavy storms developing by 1:30 and into 2 o'clock. They'll continue and even strengthen into 5 and 6 o'clock right through Duval County, making for a messy commute. Tomorrow, the 4th of July, will be even hotter. We're going to see scattered thunderstorms through the afternoon, but they are going to diminish by sunset, so we're kind of in the clear as far as the fireworks forecast goes. May see a few sprinkles in and around the area, but otherwise things are starting to dry out by 9:30, and we will be at 82 degrees with those partly cloudy skies. As we go into the weekend, temperatures will be in the low and mid-90s with scattered afternoon thunderstorms each day. And that's going to be the forecast as we head into the middle of next week as well. You can download our First Alert Weather app. It's available for Apple and Android products to track Arthur right along with us. And you can also get more information by logging on to actionnewsjax.com. It's 7:21. Let's get a check on your First Alert traffic with Derek Odom.
Haven't found many problems this morning. Taking a look over at the East Beltway 295 and Atlantic. No problems. Green light there and looking pretty smooth down in St. Johns County on US 1. Right in St. Augustine, 33 miles per hour right there at 16. Once you get on to 16, 47 miles per hour, making your way towards I-95 and then making that drive in all the way from State Road 16 up to the 295 interchange, only 18 minutes there. 53 miles per hour, that is your real-time traffic speed southbound right at Old St. Augustine Road into 95. No crowding there. I think a lot of people are already extending their holiday weekend. 8 minutes on US 17 from Fleming Island and Dr. Inlet up to the 295 interchange. That's the very latest from the Safety and Security First Alert Traffic Center. Action News Time, 7:21.
Thanks, Derek. Well, just in time for the 4th of July holiday, there's a new report that says Florida and Georgia are some of the most patriotic states in the entire nation.
This is pretty cool. According to real estate website Movoto, Florida came in at number 6, Georgia coming in at 7th. The findings are based on factors like historic landmarks and U.S. flag sales. South Carolina coming in at number 1, California dead last.
I thought we would have been number 1, though. I think we're pretty patriotic.
Yeah. I'll take 6 and 7. That's pretty good. A lot to be proud of here.
Did you see us during the World Cup?
Oh, yeah.
Matching
Red,
up our
white,
outfits.
blue. We got that.
On it. Well, wrongfully arrested not once but twice. She says she lost everything. Now the punishments for 4 local detectives after mixing up these 2 women.
Plus, dangerous bacteria surge, the major local waterway undergoing testing, and what you need to know about any threats heading into your holiday weekend.
But first, teacher in trouble. What this local teacher is accused of doing to a complete stranger right at his door, and the excuse he gave police.
And we're giving you a live look out at Jacksonville Beach this morning. You can see the Whitecaps as Hurricane Arthur is moving away from our coast, headed to North Carolina.